Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. If you're not a member or you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. If you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. SMF is Smart Men Flying, courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. And I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. By the way, you only can make comments or questions during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, Saturday at John's videos, the contest videos, coverage of the Nats that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe. And when you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all so that whether myself or Sparky comes on, you'll be notified. Share the videos, comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, or start down below, hit the blue button. It just starts at $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. Now, if you're generous, there are 2 tiers above that. And by the way, I am a member myself, so I have the $4.99 come out of my checking account every month, and I don't miss it, and I suspect you won't miss it either. You can also show your support by using the super chat, which is a big $sign below the chat box, and you can make donations there of any amount, and please, bigger the better. And your support helps offset some, and I want to emphasize some, of the expenses of running Stunthangar. With your memberships, you'll get special badges and stickers in the YouTube chat box, and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm in here just twice a week. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. Flying Control Line Stunt, and place your comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his video camera of me flying his, then it was orange, Junar XL. And now he's repainted it. It's mostly white with orange trim. If you do that, put a notification or a question there, I will be notified quickly, because that's my channel. Unlike this here, I'm only in here twice a week. Now, I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You guys are making it happen. You gals are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. Without any further ado, I'm going to post a link now at Stunthangar Forum, and the link has been posted. So what you want to do is you want to go to stunthangar.com and /SMF and go to the at the bench link. And if you're logged in, if you're a member, you'll see the at the bench link. And that's how you get in here, is that way. Let me go to what I call the control panel, which is where I can see the stream and see who's in attendance, not who, but the number of people that are in attendance. And I can also see the chats and the quality of the stream, the whole bit. It's a way of me managing it. And I have about 3 monitors that I use to keep up. And I see Jeff Riley's in there. He says, "Hi, Charles. I think he means the like button has been smashed here. Thank you very much. I'll be in a few." Great. As soon as I get the paint off the floor. And he meant like button. He went ahead and corrected that. Let me see who else is in here. I think I hear someone else joining me. Hey, Keith, thank you for coming in.
Screw on the bottom here, is it? To the right.
Hey, good to be back.
Yes. Hey, Barbara. I don't think we've ever met.
Hi.
I don't know if he was there- if he was
I'm
there.
adjusting the equipment.
I appreciate you taking care of Keith. I appreciate it.
He needs a lot of help.
You know, a lot of gentlemen need a lot of help. Their wives help them. They do these Zoom meetings much more frequently with grandkids and family. And so that's very common.
Okay, here he is. Take
All
good
right.
care of him.
All right. Thank you very much. So how you doing, Keith?
Doing okay. We've had some really good weather today for a change.
Oh, great.
Could have been a good day to go fly if we had a flying field, but we're working on that.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Nothing stays the same. I remember when I was in a flying desert and I was hoping, and now I've been using this one space. It's a public park, but I fly on the athletic fields and there's not much pedestrian traffic. So I haven't had any incidences there. I've been flying there for about 8 years now.
You say the desert, where are you?
I'm in Escondido, California.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a desert, but I mean, there was no flying places for me to fly that I was aware of.
Yeah.
And then one day I saw this place and I said, wow, this looks like a good place, a good spot. And I went to the offices and asked them if it'd be all right. And they said, sure, we don't see any problem because no one's here during the week anyways. And so.
Well, we lived in Orange County, Fountain Valley for 25 years. And when we got there, we had Mile Square Park and that was heaven.
Yeah, I've only heard of Mile Square Park. I've never been there. I know it's gone. I think it's a golf course now or something else.
Well, they made it into a golf course, but I don't think they use it for a golf course now. I don't know what happened. They already had 2 or 3 golf courses on that piece of land. And I don't know how many golf courses there are in Orange County. They just needed to have another one. They thought they could make some money.
Right. Yeah. No. Well, I'm sure golf courses generate more income than control line flying circles.
But then a bunch of us moved to Tucson, and that was almost as good. The 2,000 foot out, 2,300 foot altitude wasn't that much different. But practiced year round there in Tucson at 2,300 feet. And then I'd go back to California for a contest. And the first day I'd try to fly, everything was off. Mm-hmm. Just the timing and the airplane just performed different. And I'd force through a day of practice, not doing very good. And then the next day, everything is back to normal. I mean, the timing came back and it worked out.
Oh, great.
That was interesting that you get used to a certain air. And then when you go even that 2,000 foot altitude difference, it did make a difference. And after the day of practice, the next day, it all came back.
Fantastic. Yeah, I remember going to Arizona, going in the opposite direction, and I have a heavy Strega. And I remember the first time I did the vertical 8s, when I went upstairs to the top loop, I thought the plane was going to fall because it's so heavy and the air is thinner out there than what I'm accustomed to. And so I actually almost froze right in the intersection because I wasn't used to the plane flying the way it was flying. So yeah. I remember it. And then of course I had an overrun and I had to adjust my fuel tank. I think I had to take out a half ounce of fuel. But yeah, there's adjustments. And I've heard I've heard that. I remember Bob Wiley explained the same thing you just explained to me about when he came out to California, having to do that. Hey Gary, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
Great, fantastic. What is your shirt? It looks like it's
All just
oh, okay. I didn't know if it was a model airplane on there or something or what.
nah.
Very good. Yeah, I went flying today. Actually, been flying this electric SV11, and I put it together last year, but it didn't fly very well until recently. Now it's flying pretty darn good, and I'm actually able to start working on myself. Today I was working on the my overhead eights, and on my right shoulder, that round would be a lot smaller than the round on my left shoulder. So I was just trying with the help of my friend Joe Mata, trying to adjust those circles to get them so they're closer to the same size. Have you had any experience with that or problems with that, Keith? I know we take it every maneuver, make it for granted, but that's kind of tricky to get those circles the same.
Well, was it turning easier one way than the other?
It seemed like it was turning easier on my right shoulder.
Yeah. For me, it's a matter of two things. You can maybe adjust the lines just a little bit, and I'm only talking no more than an eighth quarter of an inch change that you could do on your handle if you have a slider on the connection. But the other thing that helps even more for me is moving the spacing up or down on one on the up line or down line where it's lower on the handle or higher on the handle, depending on if you need more turn on insides or more turn on the outsides. Then you increase the throw on your handle doing that. And the other thing is you can play around with, if you have an ability to adjust the elevator flap trim, like if you're getting too much, or if you're not turning sharp enough on the insides, then go ahead and crank in just a little bit more up elevator relative to the flap.
Right.
And it only takes like a half a turn on the adjustment at the elevator horn is sometimes too much.
Okay.
It'll cock it the other way around. But somewhere in those three things you can do to
Right.
get your turns inside and outside to be the same.
Right. I understand that. I've done that before. This time, you know, I have a something, I don't know if you're doing this, but I've been doing this for several years now. I actually make my push rod from my flap. Excuse me, my push rod from my bell crank to the flap.
Yeah.
I got left and right hand connection, so I can shorten and lengthen that push rod. And I've done that as well. I found that really helps as well to adjust the turning of the plane. If it turns quicker one way than the other.
Well, I have the left hand, right hand connectors between the flap and elevator.
Right.
So all you have to do is turn the push rod even a quarter of a turn, or a quarter of a turn is really half a turn on the threads, equivalent of that. But even a quarter of a turn on the push rod can make a difference in the way the thing turns insides, outsides.
Right, it does. I found that it also changes the attitude of the plane. If the plane is flying flat, you make a slight adjustment, you're just changing the attitude of the plane as well.
And the other thing is make sure the engine's running the same insides and outsides. You can tell that on the horizontal aids. If it's doing a little bit different on the insides, outsides, then you move the tank.
Right, yeah.
It's also easy.
Yeah, it's also easy. It takes time, and but I was thinking about when you go up into the maneuver and you go behind you, and then you start the arc, and what happens to me is this right circle is a little bit smaller right here. I'm not sure if I'm not going back far enough or
That's
not.
probably the case. And getting older, you have to you have to lean back, and it's harder to do when you're starting to get older.
Right.
Then you watch somebody like Dave Fitzgerald, and
Yes.
he can turn, his back is like 90 degrees to he can turn backwards that way.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing how he spreads his legs and then he can just bend over and looks like he's very comfortable. There's like no fear of losing balance
Yeah,
doing those maneuvers, you know. The other thing is you know, when you do the flying off your right shoulder, right, it's very nice and comfortable on this maneuver. And then when you come over here, you got to cross your body. So when you come, now you're having to cross your body. I think that's what's also different to
but
come back.
so either way, you need to twist your whole body a little bit. So, and then you just practice the thing until you think you're starting to get it right, and uh, concentrate on what you're doing. And one of the main things is to never move your feet in the maneuver. You need to plant your feet before you start it, and don't move your feet until you're at the exit point.
And when you exit, do you turn just your upper torso, or do you turn your whole body around when you terminate the maneuver?
On the overheads,
Yeah, on the overheads.
oh boy, I have to think. I'll have to think what I do. Geez. Yeah. I do something most people don't do is when I start the overhead, I'll pivot my body to where I'm facing downwind, or yeah, where I'm facing downwind. And some people go ahead and stay facing upwind.
Yeah, I'm facing upwind.
Okay, but same thing would hold. Go ahead and face upwind and basic, yeah, and come up, and when you exit, don't move your feet until you go through the intersection and you start coming down.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen you ever seen Orestes Hernandez fly?
Oh yeah,
Now I like what he does. He actually keeps his feet planted the whole time. And when he terminates that maneuver after it goes through the intersection, he just turns his torso and reaches behind him,
yeah,
brings it back around. And I think that is so elegant.
yeah.
I've been meaning to copy that, but right now I have too many irons in the fire to remember to do that.
Hey, you asked a question about starting this at a different time.
Yes.
For me, it doesn't make any difference. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Gary?
Me neither.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I've gotten any responses on the forum. So I mean, the only responses I got was that it's too late. And then as my questions been posted, what if I was to start at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time instead of 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time? And I didn't check today, but I had not seen any responses. And I have a crew now of about, I don't know, 13 people that regularly come on the show. And I don't want to lose not one to gain one. Sense, you know?
yeah,
So I'm kind of inclined to just leave things the way it is. And if it's too late for people, you always can watch the replay. But if you
Yeah.
want to come in, because we have so many people, you know, Lynn Burrell and Steve Hines, Mike Lonke, I think even trying to think of all the names, but there's a number of people that are on the East Coast or on Eastern Standard Time, and they come in. So when I start the show, it's 9:45 at night, and they've been coming in for years. So I'm kind of reluctant now after seeing so little interest in me starting at 5, I'm thinking I'll just keep it the way it is.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, one of the first times I came on a couple weeks ago, did I show you those new T-shirts and sweatshirts that this one lady is shown on Stunthanger, and they're available on Amazon. It shows that I am in control, shows the guy, yeah, and then on the back,
But I haven't seen yours.
have you seen the back of those?
I think so. If you want to grab it, that'd be fine. I don't mind show and tells at
Yeah.
all.
I'll be right back.
Great. That'd be great. And while you're doing that, I'm going to catch up on the chat box. Mel Rogers, he says, good evening, guys, from Roseburg. Hey, good evening. Well, thanks for coming in. And I really wish I could speak Russian or whatever this language is. We have this person's been coming in regularly, and they've been posting something, and I appreciate them doing that. Thank you very much. Hopefully you understand me. I'm assuming you must assign, it must either just like the show and tells, or you do understand what we're saying. Oh boy. So right now we have 17 concurrent viewers and we have 11 likes. So if you haven't smashed the like button, please do that. It won't cost you a penny just to hit the like button. And some people don't stay very long. So before you leave, please hit the like button. And if you're watching this as a replay, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel, also helps. And here comes Keith. Welcome back.
Yeah.
I make you big so that the shirt will show up big.
Let's see. Does this?
Yeah, I have everything under control. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay. That's
Don't
good.
hurt it.
When I saw that, this was posted on Stunthanger, and I said, well, I'd like to buy one of those, but this drawing came from an article that Bob Palmer wrote way back like in 1954 or something like that. How to fly stunt, flying models.
Yes.
And on the second page of that was another drawing in that article that I said, if you'd put this on the back of that t-shirt, I'd buy some.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, that is. I know there's some people that can relate to that. I'm not going to mention their names, but I know some people that can relate to that.
But it was in that article. There was this, on the second page of it, there was this. And she took me up on that. And now then there's several versions of this thing on her website, and you can find them on Amazon.
Okay, good. I need to buy one of those. I like flying shirts. I wear flying shirts quite often.
Anyway, I haven't flown this out to fly yet, but I'm looking. I haven't flown since VSC. So I'm anxious to wear this next time we go out.
So now you live in Colorado, correct?
Yes, near Denver.
Have you found a place to fly, or you don't have a place to fly?
I belong to a radio control, excuse me. There's a radio control club here. They have like 350 members.
Wow.
And it's Arvada Aero Modelers. And the city has some land west of town, up against the foothills. And I don't know, there's hundreds, maybe 1,000 acres or more out there, several square miles, and no trees, and we're half a mile or more away from any settlement or any housing. They keep getting closer though. But I guess several years ago, somebody in that club approached Terry Higgins, said if they'd build us a circle, would they join the club? And he said, sure. So they've got a circle out there. It's a donut of, I forget what it's called. It's like a plastic canvas. But they have this circle, an 80-foot diameter circle, a donut. And it's all pinned down to the ground. And it's a suitable place to fly. And except when it's windy, and we've had like 90-mile-an-hour winds or 110-mile-an-hour winds sometimes out there. Tends to tear things up. They've got a weather station that blew down this last winter, that you can look up any time of the day, and it'll give you the temperature and the wind speed and all that. And they're going to be getting that fixed up. So before you take, that's 35 miles from here. So before I take that trip, I'm checking to see what the wind is and what they have out there as a forecast. So
So what is the typical wind miles per hour there?
so far this spring, 30, 40 miles an hour.
Oh, ooh.
Oh, golly.
You could do some wind flying if you wanted
Yeah.
to without the motor.
I've been tempted to put something together to try that, but I have a hard enough time even flying anymore. So I don't think I need to get into that. The problem is you can do the wind flying, but then you have to get the thing on the ground. And I guess you can just kind of let it settle down on the downwind side and plop it in, but it's not a healthy thing to do.
Interesting. I never thought about that part of getting it down. I've heard of wind flying. I've never done it, but I didn't think about you have to find a way to get it down. Interesting. Let me welcome Jeff Riley. Hey Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Hey Charles, how you doing?
I am doing well. Doing well.
Yeah, hi.
Hey Gary,
Hi, how are you?
Keith Trossel. There's a guy I haven't seen since the 90s.
Wow, when was where was that?
We used to fly together at Whittier Narrows. I flew with Tom Warden and Bill Noyes.
Yeah, yeah.
And you used to show up with the guys from the Circle, from the Orange County guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And I flew with you for several weekends, but we flew the I think it was 93, maybe 1994, Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
And you and I were laughing at each other because we both bought red-haired troll dolls for the donation.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. You might remember my airplane more than you remember me. And I had a black Sig Acrobat with blue, stupid-looking triangles on it, and it had more packing tape on it than anything else. And back then, I flew with an OS 40.
Yeah.
And Tom Warden kept calling me crazy because I should have flown it with a Fox 35. Now I finally took his advice, and that's all I fly with. But it's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in years.
We're all getting older.
Yeah, we are.
We sure are. Hey, how's your junkyard dog coming along, Jeff?
It's still sitting on the stand because I'm too lazy to get out there and do anything with it.
Yeah.
It's either busy, lazy, or having stuff cut out of my arm. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I got some pretty good
Oh,
scars in my arm.
yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they had to cut some squamous out of there.
Wow.
And that's not even the arm that hangs out the window in the truck.
Huh. Wow. Well, good thing you got it taken care of. That's good.
Yeah, I got it chopped out. They left me some pretty good let's see, what would you call these? Battle scars?
Yeah, that's living scars.
That's called trophies.
Yes, yes.
Not anymore. I'm too old for that.
You've got a big trophy sitting there beside and behind you. What is that for?
Oh, this red one?
Yeah.
I used to race motocross years ago, and that folded my knee, busted both ankles. I got tore up from that. That's from racing dirt bikes.
Sounds like fun.
Very
It used
cool.
to be, and anymore it hurts.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I got back into model airplanes, is just because I don't have to throw my leg over the seat. I don't have to kickstart it. The worst that's going to happen is the prop's going to bite me once or twice, and I think I can handle that. As long as it's not an APC, I'll be all right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, APCs, you definitely got to sand that blade down so it's not so sharp.
Oh, APCs will tear your fingertips off if you're not careful.
Yeah. Even just flipping it, you can get cut. Let me catch up on the chat box. Mark Lumen says, like given, maybe in a bit. Fantastic. Thank you, Mark. Then Jack Snavely, he has the stickers of the airplanes. Thank you very much. And I know Jack Snavely wants to say hi around the world and all of us on the show. So thank you, Jack. And then he said, like added. Thank you very much. And then Mel Rogers says, I got to see Paul Walker fly today. I am amazed. That is fantastic. You got to see Paul Walker fly. That's great.
Have you ever seen Keith fly?
Oh yeah. I've seen Keith fly.
Keith is an amazing pilot too. He's good.
He is. Yeah, the very first time I saw you fly, Keith, was at a contest here in Ramona. Dave Sabon was the contest director,
Yeah,
and you came out with your Bearcat.
yeah.
And that was amazing. Actually, that's the first time I saw a lot of people that fly competitively, because I was only like 20 minutes away from me, and I got a chance to see all kinds of people. That was great. And then
That Bearcat was better than I was.
it was great. I know it's a difficult plane to build. I know. I think Dave Sabon said he'll never build another one ever again. It's just so difficult.
Was that the Ravy Bellcat?
I
Yeah,
believe so. That's what Dave had. I don't know about you, Keith.
well, I took the Bearcat I built was from the magazine plans of his first Bearcat. He had several different versions of that after the magazine article. For the magazine article, it still had the fuselage was constructed with like there's 1/4-inch sheet sides on the fuselage and blocks on the top and bottom. And that's before he started his molding process for all those things.
Wow.
Instead of using blocks, mine was, I drew up all the formers and I planked with like 3/32 inch strips, 3/32 by 38 strips. And also he had the conventional construction for the wing where you put his tubes on the bench and built the airplane or the wings up from that. And I used the Lost Foam package that Bobby Hunt cut for me. And I molded the skins for the horizontal tail and the vertical tail, and that worked out well. It's the first time I'd ever done that, and it worked. But it took a couple of years to get everything trimmed out. I was using a variation of the Ravy rudder, and where I could control the throw on that thing, both insides and outsides. And it took a while to get that right because the vertical tail on that thing sets way above the center line of the fuselage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pretty big tail and it's tall. So if you gave it too much like right rudder on the insides, why the thing would want to roll to the left and yaw to the right. And it would, in the middle of the intersections where you're transferring from one turn to the other, saw some really screwy things. And Bob Palmer says, you need to fix that.
Yeah.
So after about 2 years, I got that worked out. And I was like, no, that's some other guy's flight. And I remember one time Lou Wolgast flew it there in Arizona. And when he landed, why he came back down, he said, guys, Keith isn't that good. It was the airplane.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I have actually fooled around with the Ravy rudder. I actually like the Ravy rudder. I have it on my Strega, and I actually like it. It actually because I'm on my Strega, I'm flying 14-inch props. So I do see the effects of the gyroscopic precession and the weight of the props, and so the Ravy rudder seems to really help me on the outside maneuvers.
I think a lot of people try that Ravy rudder, the concept, and they end up not liking it because they use too much throw, both for the insides and the outsides. And what I found was that Bearcat, for neutral elevator, I would have maybe 1/8 of an inch rudder offset.
Mhm.
And then for full up, why, I would have an additional 1/8 inch offset. And for full down, I would have actually another 1/16 of an inch right offset. And for the Bearcat, that worked. It took a long time to get that setting. I don't know whether you've seen, I use a cam.
Yeah, I saw your cam. I think I have a copy of the article. I'm not sure if it was in Stunt News or,
It was.
okay, I have a copy of that article and I thought that was pretty neat.
And so you can program that thing to go any direction you want at any rate you want, depending on your elevator travel.
Right. Yeah, I just figured I had to make a lot of different cam.
I've got a
tracks.
whole handful of those things.
I bet. That's kind of why I didn't go that route. I figured it would take a lot of different tracks to figure out what contour, what kind of curve I want for the, for the rate of the elevator deflection, not elevator, but rudder deflection. And I thought it was exquisite, but at that, flying, for me at that time particularly, and maybe still a little bit is the case, I still need to work on my flying, more than the Raby rudder.
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen, Eddie, thank you for coming in, Eddie, and thank you, Bob Whitley. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure, always.
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody done anything in the garage or shop or out in the flying field?
Yeah, I went out and did my first flight of the year the weekend before, last weekend, I think it was. I lost track of time. It's been pretty busy. Tried out a couple of new RSTs and with the Super Tiger 35s, and they were flying a lot better than my earlier ones. So I was out all alone. Everyone else is heading for the Northwest Regional. So it was a nice night at the flying field, and my electronic stooge worked perfectly. So
Yeah, that is neat. That is neat. Now, have you flown your SV11 yet?
no, not yet. I probably won't fly that for about another month.
Okay. It's a good flying plane. I don't know if you heard my comments a month or so ago, but I always try to make sure everyone understands it's not the model, it's my particular SV11 had a problem, but my issues with the are no longer the case. The plane's flying really good. I'm actually able to work on myself. So it's been actually been very enjoyable. I'm looking forward to getting better and better. So I haven't done a full pattern yet, but I'm doing these short flights with the electric. I can just program a couple minutes flights. And today I was just focusing on my overhead eights, and which was really neat to get the same flight, because it's electric, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, my Vector 40 profile's ready to go too. I just haven't had time to go out. And tomorrow and Sunday it's supposed to be super windy here again, and so I think I've been got suckered into doing some renovations for friends. So as an example, in a 3-day period, myself and my nephew gutted out all of the baseboard flooring and appliances, etc., on a fair sized bungalow, and gutted out a bathroom and replaced it all with new flooring and redid the bathroom in a 3-day period. So that kind of kicked the crap out of me.
Oh, I bet. So everybody went to the Northwestern Regionals for this weekend?
Well, at least 3 of the guys from here did. Yeah.
Okay, because that Mel Rogers in the chat box said that he got to see Paul Walker fly today. So I'm wondering if they're practicing and if that's what Mel Rogers is referring to.
Well, Bruce Perry and Ken Bird, they left on Monday for it to get there real early for due practice. I think Paul Jabot, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday when he left. I don't know if anyone else if Neil Rogers was going down or not from here, but those 3 were for sure.
Well, I hope to make it there next year. That is one of my bucket list contests I want to go to. And so hopefully next year, I mean, it's quite a bit of ways for me because that's up in Oregon and I'm here in Southern California.
Yeah, probably be about the same distance as us going down there.
Of course.
No, Oregon's 600 miles from us.
Yeah.
650, depending on where you live. Charles, you're further than me, so.
At least add another couple hours to that.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, up here, when you're looking at distances like that, we don't really regard it as miles. You think a number of hours you have to travel to get there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's at least 8 or 10 hours for me, I think.
Well, Robert, the speed my truck runs, it's 3 hours. Right.
Yeah.
The way I drive, it's more like 4 days.
Yeah, I hope to get some guys with me to be ready to go next year to the Northwestern Regionals. That'd be a really good event to go to. And then, of course, it's being hosted by Paul Walker, and that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Paul Walker's a fun guy to hang around with. He used to come down to the basin years ago. I mean, I was maybe 10 when I met him.
Well, I think it was 4 years ago when I was first looking at getting back into, might have been 5 years. I don't know. Time passes. Looking at getting back into control line, and it just happened to be that he was up here doing a stunt clinic, so I got to meet him there and watch him fly. That was truly impressive. He was flight trimming everyone's airplanes and doing tips and this and that. So it was quite a neat experience to be for an intro getting back into the hobby.
Yeah, Walker's a really cool dude. He's fun to just to hang out with him. He's fun.
And I was at the Nats, I think in 2019, and we was in that cafe restaurant, and I'm just sitting there, and Paul Walker's up behind me, and he goes, "Hey, Charles, what are you doing here?" And it was my first time at the Nats, but I was really impressed with that because we really hadn't had much conversation with each other, and so for him to come in and greet me and welcome me to the Nats, that was pretty neat.
Yeah. Something else that happened on Wednesday, it was my wife's birthday and our anniversary. That was a fairly nice day here. And one of my customers going to be starting up flight training with me. He's shopping for a Cardinal right now. But anyway, he's got a new mid-engine, fancy, totally loaded Corvette. And he said, just take it and drive it like you effing stole it and enjoy it. So we went out and did about 5 hours of driving around the countryside and doing it's hard to do a burnout with it, but 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in a matter of seconds. So it was just an awesome car to drive, and it was just so nice of him to loan it, and he said borrow it anytime you want. So there's some really decent people out there.
Wow, that is pretty neat.
Yeah, it was a heck of a good birthday present for Kim. She was just smiling away, launching it.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I drove as I'll get back to model airplanes. Anyways, Tom Creasy says, I would be joining, but I'm at a Cardinals game. They are ahead 2-0. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. Thanks, Tom Creasy. Thank you for coming in. That's awesome. And then Mel Rogers says, 15-hour drive for me. Yeah, I think he's in Utah, somewhere in Utah. I forgot where Mel Rogers lives. But 15-hour drive. Yeah, that's a long drive.
Well, it'd be about 12 hours straight through for me, 12 to 14 hours. I'm getting old, though. I'll probably do an overnight nowadays.
Yeah. So right now we have almost 19 concurrent viewers and 20 likes. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Keep up the good work, guys. Keep giving us thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. It helps the analytics of the show. And don't forget the super chats. They also help. And join, consider joining the Stunthangar YouTube's memberships for just $4.99.
So what are you up to, Eddie? What are you smashing the keyboard for?
I hear you keyboard.
Setting up a new computer.
I see a Banshee kit right over your head.
Yep.
Yeah, what are you gonna put on that one?
I don't know. No, that right there is my brother's old box. My Banshee's up there. But yeah, it's I've got several I don't know, probably a LA40 maybe. I don't know.
LA40. You got two choices.
I
with the Banshee.
gotta see the weight, check the weight and see how much I can, whatever it takes to balance the nose out.
A lot of people tell you just move the wing 1.5 inches forward,
Yeah.
but that takes away from the nose moment of the airplane. So you're gonna put more nose weight on it. If you break the ribs and you sweep the trailing edge forward 5/8 of an inch, it's just like moving the wing forward. Because all it does is it moves the balance point forward on the rotation.
Yeah.
So if you taper the trailing edge forward, leave the leading edge straight, it'll turn like it's tail heavy. So you can get away with a little more nose weight, and it'll actually fly more stable.
I'll figure that out when I get to it. I've got so much stuff right now to do. First thing I want to build is this JB special. So
Well, you got that fancy cutter. You can cut the special ribs for the Banshee.
yeah.
So just cut it with a 1/2 inch or a 5/8 forward sweep in the trailing edge. You'll be fine. As long as the tips should taper down, and it should be like I think it's roughly an 1/8 or 3/16 narrower at the thinner at the tip than it is at the root. With
I
that
don't
forward
know.
sweep in it.
Was the kit I got, they didn't say anything about it not having all the pieces, and when I got it, it had one sheet of ribs in it. So
Oh man.
yeah.
So you're short about 8 ribs.
Yeah.
You bought that on the bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I may just go ahead and I can go to SIG and buy a wing kit.
Yeah, good idea.
How much is a Banshee kit now? About $85?
Yeah, something like that. Not much.
That's not bad.
Compared to the $300, on other airplanes are worth. Or not worth,
1,400
but
for those.
not their worth. It's just,
composites.
yeah.
Buy one of those composites one that's shipped over from the other side of the world. They're about $1,500.
No, too rich for my blood.
No, I'll stick to my junior nobblers and my scratch builds.
Yeah.
I still
Have
use
that-
my tennis
still have
shoe
that-
for
that-
airfoil.
Still have that smoothie that you have too, right?
It's on the board. It's going together. But so is the Cub, the Oriental, the Smoothie. I have 3 building tables going on right now. And I also have a half-A project, which I got a present from Lynn today, which is the 2-inch bell crank for my half-A project.
Nice.
And I've so far scrapped the wing on that one because it pretty much destroyed itself. Or I kind of did it, but I wasn't real happy with the way it was coming out.
Boy, Len's being generous lately. 2 days ago, I got an envelope from him with that tissue paper for that old timer free flight model to repair it.
Oh, well, this is
And that's in
nothing.
Cal-
This is nothing big high dollar. I'll show you exactly what this is.
Yeah,
Wow.
the old perfect.
This is actually a Fox, but yeah,
Oh, it's a Fox? Yeah.
2-inch bell crank for a half-A.
The Fox was a copy of the Vico.
I remember the Vicos, the Perfects, the Fox. And then what was it? SIG was the first one I saw with the plastic bell cranks. And I went, what? and I gave it a shot and it seemed to work. At least the bell crank outlasted my airplane.
Yeah, I think the first plastic ones I saw were the top flight ones.
I remember those. Those are the ones we avoided like the plague, and we always went for the Fox and the Perfect. That was what, mid 70s, late 70s.
Yeah, actually, they had the plastic ones out in the early 70, 72, 73, because it was a plastic bell crank, the SIG one that came with my original CL3 Chipmunk.
CL3 chipmunk. Oh, that's the Mike Stott chipmunk.
Yeah,
I built several of those. They're a good flying airplane.
yeah.
The
That
chipmunk
was my third airplane ever.
No, actually, the Banshee was the first plane I built with a plastic bell crank in it. And I was pretty happy with it. It seemed to work good. I mean, okay, it works. So I built the Chipmunk next, and it worked. I built the Acrobat. Then I started building Brodak, the Nobler. I built the Vector. And then I bought a house, and I couldn't fly for almost 15 years.
That'll do it. Let me welcome Dennis. Thank you, Dennis, for coming in. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Evening, Charles. Evenings, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Danny.
I'm good.
Good.
Wow.
Hey, a belated happy birthday to you, Dennis.
Thanks a bunch.
Oh, you're a May kid too?
Yeah.
Another
Yep,
Gemini.
yesterday.
Birthday, Dennis. Happy birthday.
Yesterday.
It's- Yeah,
My wife's birthday was yesterday.
really. Terrific.
And we went to a restaurant called Rockin' Brews for lunch, and we had pizza and beer.
So your wife, I said happy birthday.
Oh, I will. She says, break out your disco suit because we're dancing.
Oh, geez.
Well,
I don't know if
Charles,
I'm ready for that, Jeff.
Charles wants to go to the Knights Joust at Whittier Narrows, and I said Wendy wants to come because she's well, my wife is my pit crew, and she says, well, is Charles going to be there? I said, yeah. She says, well, tell him I'm bringing a disco ball and a loudspeaker.
Very good.
And tell him to wear his polyester suit.
Yeah, Wendy and I, we enjoy music a lot. I was just so surprised when I met Wendy a couple years ago, and we was just talking about music, and so we have that going.
No, Wendy and Charles have the same music taste. They like all the same stuff.
Yeah.
I like a lot of it, but it's really cool. But she says, get ready to dance, Charles, because if she's coming out, you're dancing.
All right. No problem.
And she says, if you're going to Brodax just for the dancing, she'll go with me.
Oh wow. I wish I could go to Brodax. Maybe I gotta just pick and choose what I can afford to do, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I wish I could go to Brodax too, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah.
And I know the Nats is out of the question. I am nowhere near ready for competition.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make it down to BC to Chris Cox's contest in Richmond, I think it is, the beginning of August. And then we've got ours on the 19th, 20th of August.
Was
I was
that the
just glad to
Canadian
hear that
Nats?
you guys are able to get around a little bit. Had you locked down for the last 3 years. But
Actually, we weren't really restricted all that bad when you get
Yeah.
down to it. There was just the social restrictions of, mask and distance and all that stuff. We had our contest every year, no problem.
Okay. Well, it sounded like Glenn and the Eastern Canadians had a hard time, but they didn't have a meet for forever. So
Yeah, it really didn't slow us down much at all.
yeah.
In control line, you got 60 feet or 70 feet social distancing.
Yeah.
That's it.
So Dennis, how old are you now? About 47?
A little more.
Okay.
Let's just say I still like hanging out with control line people because they still call me kid. So
Yeah, when I see you, you're a kid.
that's it. What can I
Okay.
say, Keith? When I first met you, you were this tall,
And then he
I
shrunk.
mean, literally the early sixties and stuff like that. It's been a long time. No, I am 68 now. So
Oh, very cool.
it's just really kind of sobering when I reading the news yesterday morning, and Ray Liotta, the actor, died.
Yeah.
He was 67.
I
All
know.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like, holy crap, So I guess those things happen. So
Everybody's different because it is amazing. 'Cause I'm 64 and I hear about people, 55. Well, that actor not Bungo is like in his 50s, one before that.
yeah. Well, I remember, a couple of things. Ford and Boeing actually teamed up on a study back in, I think it was in the late 50s, early 60s or something like that. And they basically studying how long their retirees lived, after they retired. And the people who went to a full retirement at 65, they were dead within 18 months.
Yeah.
And people who retired early, like in their mid 50s and stuff like that, they would live for 20, 25 years. All right.
Whoa. No.
And it seemed to be a whole thing. The whole difference was the people who lived or retired at 65, it had nothing to do, just sat there listening to their arteries harden, and and then that was that. But the people who retired younger were actually, they were involved in more activity and stuff like that.
Well,
Wow, I hope that works.
I think
I
we're
hope
all
that
in the
works
same-
for me. I hope that works for me because I retired at 51.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. You keep going, and it's like keep flying airplanes, man. It'll keep you living. So
Well, I
keep
think
you
all of
going.
us have too many airplanes we need to build, so.
Well, that's
Yeah,
it.
my problem is I'm gonna work up to lunchtime on my funeral.
Yeah. Well, hey, what Keith was just saying, my flying buddy Wes, he's just turned 90 and he's flew at BSC and everything like that. And he says he can't leave as long as he's got an unfinished project in the workshop.
Right.
Good
So
philosophy.
Well, I've
that's
got,
it.
You
And
know, all of
he's
us
been a
in
little
model
worried
air-
because he's had everything caught up and everything finished and wasn't cutting any new balsa or anything like that. So,
well, I've got about 3 or 4 of them things unfinished in the
well,
shop.
heck, you're in good shape then. But
I got a whole room full of unfinished, so I'm good.
A dozen more on the list.
I guess we all
yeah, the
belong.
list is long.
I
I
guess we all
try
belong
I
in the
try
same
so hard to
club.
limit myself to one project at a time, and it's just so hard to do that. You pick up something else and you just, well, it won't hurt anything if I just glue this wingtip together.
It's a mistake. It's a mistake to try to build 2 airplanes at the same time.
Yeah.
I started 2 airplanes when I was in Washington. This would have been in the late 76, 77, something like that. And one of those airplanes I finished, it's crashed. The other airplane is still in pieces. I mean, it's still not built, so.
Oh, so that's one of the ones that you got to finish yet, huh?
Yeah.
So, oh boy.
And I have
Models
3
are
on
those, Keith?
What's that?
What model airplane are those?
Well, the one I finished was a Genesis wing and tail that I put my own fuselage on.
Okay.
And it's just getting trimmed out to really fly nice. And I was flying it on a parking lot there at Andrews Air Force Base. And you could see there was a storm building up over the horizon. The clouds are coming up. And I said, that's going to be 20, 30 minutes before that gets here.
Uh-huh.
Well, halfway through the flight, there were tree limbs blowing through the center of the circle.
Oh man, that's not good.
Ouch.
And and then it started raining hard. And I was running back and forth on the upwind side, running back and then try to get back in the center of the circle because the parking lot wasn't that big. And then one time on the upwind side, the wind caught the wing, came over the top of the circle and hit the end of the lines, tore off the inboard wing, and the thing just destroyed itself. And the wind blew half the pieces away. And the next day I was checking the weather there at the base and they said they had 60-mile-an-hour winds that day.
Wow.
It was not a happy thing.
No.
Yeah.
The other airplane was going to be a sports scale of the Martin Baker MB3. And the wings are ready to be sheeted and the fuselage, it's pretty well, and the tail's done, it's pretty well ready to assemble. But I was trying to I was going to put retracts on it and then some other things. And for the way sports scale rules are written now, it wouldn't do that well in competition, even with the retracts. So I, it's a scaled outline. Only I put a thicker symmetrical airfoil on it and working flaps because I thought I could make it maneuverable. But I've since learned that small airplanes, a little bit of heavy, don't become very maneuverable. So it's still sitting in a bench, inside the bench.
Would that have been roughly the size of your MB5?
Yeah, it was the same scale, 1/10 full size.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
You remember that Martin Baker MB5? You launched,
oh, are you kidding? I remember it. And I make a point of trying to visit it every time I'm in Muncie. All right.
yeah,
I really do.
you
So
launched that one year. Yeah,
I sure did. I think the
We had
first
a
year
rou-
you competed with it.
yeah,
So
we had a routine going.
That was in one of Wendy's videos too, wasn't it?
That was, yeah, the one in Wendy's video, that was year 2000, and that's the year it won.
Yeah.
I had flown it 3 other times at the Nats. It had static score, had high static score all 3 times. But the first one was in Nebraska, and the wind, it was windy, and that airplane doesn't handle the wind very well. And the next one, I forget where it was. I think it was in Muncie, and that's when Dennis launched it, I think.
I think I launched it in Chicago.
Okay, it would have been Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Still a little bit windy. We got second place there. And then in 2000, we were in Muncie and still high appearance points. And it wasn't the best flying airplane, but it flew well enough to go ahead and get the first place.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hey, Charles, my name's not Barbara. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
That's all right. You're the other Barbara.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
We have another Barbara Trossel over there too. So
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Anyhow.
have you been flying, Mark, or been building anything?
No, I spent a bunch of days down at Triple Tree, and last weekend attended a stunt contest down on the Eastern Shore, of Maryland. And I'm just trying to get the Pampa word out. And I think in the last 12 days, I think I got 6 new members.
Very
So,
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's,
So,
who
no, I'm
flies-
staying busy.
Who flies in Eastern Shore that they're in Maryland? Who's out there?
Eastern Shore Group tracks people from Virginia, DC, the Philly Flyers, Dan Banjock, John Saunders, other people down there, Craig Gunder. Let's see, not top 5 guys, but they have a good field down there, and it's just a nice place to go. They may have had 20 entrants.
Oh,
Well,
that ain't bad.
Might
I
be hard to believe,
I was
but
in
actually-
DC for about 7 years, and there was never anything Maryland Eastern Shore that I ever heard about.
No, it's an RC club that agreed to cut a circle,
Okay,
and that's something we're trying to do at Pampa, to do more of that.
This might be hard to believe, but I actually have a T-shirt from the Eastern Shore Control Line Club. I bought it at Brodax
There you go.
when I was there. So I've worn it so much that it has a lot of fuel stains on it. It's kind of a shirt that I don't wear that often anymore, but yeah. So that's
Yeah.
kind of good to hear about that club.
Yeah, Keith, Bob Hunt normally flies there too. He wasn't there for this contest.
yeah.
Let me catch up on the chat box. I have a couple comments from Philip Bailey. He says, delivered, hope to be in later at a celebration for a grandson's graduation dinner. And then he goes on to say that secret of a long life, move.
Is that the Phil Bailey that lives in Tampa or near Tampa?
He's in Carolina,
In South
North
Carolina?
North Carolina, I think.
North
North
Carolina,
Carolina.
yeah.
Well, he's a retired colonel in the Air Force. If that's the Phil Bailey I knew.
I
I
don't think
don't
that's
think so.
him. No, he did something else. And then the last thing he says is that I will always remember the Martin Baker 5. Love the static prop counter rotating mechanism, was awesome. watchmaker stuff.
Well, it was kind of crude, but it worked for static. It worked.
Mm.
You turn one propeller and the other propeller go the other way, but that's all. And for
Must
just,
be
Bailey
fu-
says North Carolina.
okay,
It must be real fun to flip start a counter rotating prop.
unless you-
Kind of like flip starting a pair of scissors.
unless you're the,
Well, that's it.
unless you're
And
Polish,
Jeff, you gotta flip both props at the same time.
unless you're Polish and they run electrics on their airplanes. They fly
What's
pretty good.
that?
Yep.
Hmm?
What's that? What's electric? That's slot cars.
All right,
That's-
Mr. Fox.
That's electric motors are for slot cars like this. This is a slot car.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
electric. This goes really fast, but it's on a track with a groove in it. That's electric. If it's on the end of the lines, it needs to smell like castor oil. It smell like a dragster.
Yeah, I don't know. At least it's not, at least you're not into diesels, all right? So.
Oh no, I hate these. But Danny, I did want to ask you, for the Cub, what's the good electric kit for it?
For the
Cub,
Brodak Cub,
Yeah, the 40-inch Cub.
I haven't got an electric system released for it yet, a conversion or anything like that, but it would be a mid-size, 2217 motor, probably an 8.6 prop. And that
Okay.
should put it in the same, class with like a strong 19 or something like that. I think the thing was designed for a 15, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 37-inch wingspan, but Brodak made it a 40, just
Mhm.
like the Junior Nobler. And the Junior Nobler we used to fly great with the angle plug Fox. So anything that's like, if it's a strong running 19, it's going to have to be dialed down.
Well, it's the neat thing about electrics. You'll be able to dial in wherever you want it to be and stuff like that. And weight wise and stuff, it should be okay.
Yeah, but I've been bench running my Brodak 15, and I'm not real happy with it. I don't like the way it runs.
Yeah, they were talking about that here. Charles, wasn't that a week or two ago? We were talking about
Yes,
Brodak
yeah,
15s.
yeah.
Who the
I
heck
remember-
was that? Was talking?
I don't remember.
Might have been Len.
Well,
Len had
Len
one
was
in a
the one.
clown racer, wasn't it?
Len was the one that said the Brodak 15 is a gutless wonder.
Yeah.
And I'm not real happy with it because on my test stand, I've got a pull gauge on it that says how much
Mm-hmm.
thrust. It's a thrust gauge. And it's it's really archaic, but it works. It tells me how much it's gonna pull. And my Junior Nobler is 19 ounces finished. And with the Brodak on it, with an 8.4, it didn't even hardly make it around the circle. So I put an 8.5 on it, and all it did was lug the motor down. So I'm thinking, okay, I should treat this engine like a half A.
Well, maybe something a 7.5 or 7.6 might let it, get the RPM back.
You think a smaller diameter would, I
Yeah,
don't know,
see if
maybe.
see how it works if you let it wind up. Maybe the thing just doesn't have any torque and stuff like that. Maybe it'll respond to a small
I ran it
prop.
I ran it with an 8.4 at about 12.2.
All right, put a 7.5 on it.
Okay.
Something like that.
I'll
Take
try
your eight,
that.
you said you had an 8.5, worst comes to worst, clip it to 7 inches and see what it gets you.
8.4.
Yeah,
I
8.4,
have
but
an
you said,
8.5.
yeah, you put an 8.5 on it and the engine just, it overpowered the engine, right?
Yeah.
You take that prop and just clip it down until the RPM gets up to 12,000.
Shave it a 1/4 inch each time.
Yeah, heck, I'd be pretty aggressive with it, cut it down to 7, and if it doesn't wind up, then start cutting it 1/8 of an inch or so until it gets there.
Okay.
It'll at least give you some idea what you got to work with. You might sacrifice the rest of the prop and everything like that, but,
It might end up a 6.5, 6.
it might be by the time you're getting there, but the flip side is it's gonna be a wide blade prop, and if it's spinning up fast and stuff, you might be surprised at how much thrust you get out of it, so.
Okay, that's a good point. I might try that.
Heck,
And
if you
by the
end
way,
up
the
down to
the
6
electric
inches,
guy
just
is giving glow engine advice now, so this is a sign of the apocalypse, so.
if you get it down to 6 inches, just take it out and put a TD on it.
Oh, yeah, you get it down to 6 inches. If nothing else, you can use it for like edging your sidewalk and stuff like that, so,
I was thinking about that too.
yeah. But,
I was gonna put a string trimmer reel on it.
yeah, it may be that. I have, first thing I ever heard about the Brodak 15, a gentleman out, Bob Zambelli, who actually does a lot of stuff for Brodak, and he got one of the first ones, put it on a Netzaban Scared Kitten or something like that, which is a little kind of a combat plane kind of thing. And he said he couldn't get the thing to complete a flight. It, like whenever it went inverted, it would shut off, or he got the thing finally to run inverted and he brought it back over and it shut off and stuff like that. And Bob is usually pretty supportive, about the Brodak stuff and everything like that. And he was not happy with that motor at all. So
Mine runs, but instead of being able to do like a half an inside loop to go inverted, I have to slowly climb and then do a half an outside loop to go inverted.
that's not a happy place. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's just hard to fly. It's hard to have fun with.
Yeah, it is. Well, you can't have any fun with that. So,
But
So I
that's
don't know,
scared
maybe,
kitten.
maybe I'll try cutting down the props, go try a 6.5 or a 7 by
let
4
the
or
thing
5.
wind up, normally you wouldn't want to load up pitch or anything like that, but maybe, if the thing is RPM limited, if it doesn't, if it's not going to turn 16, 17,000, you may have to keep the pitch up a little bit and then, sacrifice diameter until you get the RPM. Or,
Well,
get
even
it
with
up
an
to
8,
12, get it to where the engine sounds like it's running free. That's all.
even with an 8.4 on the test stand, the best I've been able to get out of it is 12.2.
Mhm. Does the engine sound like it's laboring?
Big time.
Yeah.
And I'm using 11, 11, 15.
That ought, 15%. It ain't gonna do it on 15. I mean, come on, that should be pretty lively. So,
Yeah, because even my Fox motors, I run on either like 3 to 5%.
mhm.
Well, of course, they're 40% oil, but or at least it seems like it.
Yeah.
Or
Well, that's the thing.
29.
I just an editorial opinion. I really think running over 25% caster in anything, even over 20% caster, I think it's just really a bad idea.
It's really
know-
not. It's
Yeah.
really not, because all of the Fox motors that I've run in the past, that I've run 29 as they recommend, they're just like a bottle of paste inside. So I started running them on like just 20 and 5. And they're fine. They don't seize up, they don't heat up. They run
Well, my
fine.
dad
As
used to
long as
use-
it's not 180 degrees outside, we're good.
Yeah, my dad used to use 529 for break-in because it was a way he found that he used to break in engines with like a top flight 10-3 nylon prop. Right, he'd run a max 35 on that, and he did it because the prop didn't give any load. The engine would get up to an operating RPM, and it would stay cold. And he actually controlled the heat by keeping the oil content up a little bit.
Yeah.
He kept heat in the engine by using more oil, which is what everybody says is the opposite of what happens.
And then you
but-
blow all this stuff out by pinching the fuel line.
Yeah, well, that's it. And he'd run it, he had a really neat engine. He used to run 3 engines at a time. And, he had a board across his old milk crate with a couple of bricks in it and stuff like that. He had 3 engines on it and flip. And, it'd run out a full tank and stuff like that.
That works.
Yeah, and then, he'd go line them up, run another tank through them, and you put a few tanks through and stuff, and OSs came in pretty fast anyway. There wasn't too much to it. But,
No, the OS, the 35S is probably the best stunt engine ever made. But trying to find one, you might as well look for hen's teeth.
I've
Well-
got two brand new Tom Lay OS Stunt 35s, and I got one George Aldrich OS Stunt 35s, brand
Wow.
new.
Meet your new best friend, Jeff.
But Keith ain't gonna part with those. Are you kidding me?
No.
No, he's not gonna give those up.
Hey,
He's
just
gonna-
tell Keith you got a hot Brodak 15.
But yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got a hot Brodak 15. I got a Brodak 15 that won't get out of its own way.
you want to
Uh-huh.
trade? Hey, somebody mentioned the scared kitten. Do you all know what that is?
I've seen them.
It's a Bill Netzeban design. It's really for combat, but it's a good flying little airplane if it's built and powered right. And it's old time legal.
Mm.
Isn't it a little tiny Nemesis?
No, this has got a build-up fuselage and a conventional tail. And I think it's probably 36 or, yeah, no more than a 36-inch span. I would put the capability, if it's built right, it's the right power, they could probably perform as good as a Barnstormer would.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
originally it didn't have landing gear. But the way the old time rules are written, you can put a two-wheel gear on it. And it's been one of those things that's always creeping on my list, but never get one built. It'd be fun to fly.
Well,
It'd be a fun time
Uh,
flying here right now. The storm's coming in and the trees are bending over.
You better
hear it
fly in your
howling.
basement.
Hey,
yeah, we've
Charles,
had rain the last 3 days. You know, that airplane I showed off last week, it still hasn't, it's only been outside for pictures and that's, No
Yeah,
luck
it's
at all.
gusting 28 knots right now here.
ah, geez.
wow.
This time of night, holy mackerel. So
28 knots. That's a whole
Mark
lot
wants
of
to ask me
shooting
a
on
question.
top.
Let me see. What
Yeah,
Mark-
I don't know if you guys are interested, and I missed the first hour, so I don't want to repeat it. But I was on a Zoom call last night with maybe 10 other guys and women with Chad Boudreau from AMA. And there were a couple of interesting things that came up. If you don't mind, I'll just share them with you
Yeah,
real
go ahead.
quick.
please
Go ahead.
do.
Please.
Membership paid is a little over 100,000, and he seemed to be okay with that. He had some charts, but he didn't make copies, and the total membership's a lot higher, but there are a lot of unpaid, I guess, juniors and other categories. They're coming up, I think, the end of this year. This will be good for contests, especially that you'll be able to go on the website and print out a digital, basically like a digital AMA proof card. It's not going to replace the one you get in the mail, but it looks like a pretty neat thing that you could print out for someone who just joined, for example.
Okay.
So that's good. The two main things about the meeting were these. One, they're revising the website. And they asked the group, which were basically the leaders of the different SIGs, what they thought about the current website and what needs attention. And one of the things that we all talked about was the difficulty just enrolling in a contest at the Nats, among other things.
Yes.
So they're going to redo that. And then the last point, which was kind of interesting if you go to Muncie, is that they're putting together, they're basically going to take a fresh look at the property at the flying center and possibly relocate the different disciplines such as control line and free flight. And there are some issues right now of overflying areas, of people not really being where they should be, of certain control line being one of them being spread out really without good access to the areas on the grass. So they're going to make these changes, looks like next year.
Oh, cool.
So they're starting to look for input. So if any of you are having problems with the website or you have some recommendations, and the second batch would be if you think you have some good ideas about re-looking at the flying site in Muncie, please send those to AMA. I'm not sure who, but if you send them to Chad, I'm sure they'd get to the right person.
Mhm.
So we're going to have more of these meetings. It was good. It was about 40 minutes. And again, I hope we have more of those. And whenever I attend one, I'll be glad to share my thoughts with you. So that's
I
it.
appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
The, are they talking about, typically Nats Week and stuff like that? They're flying RC scale and they usually have the LPAD blocked off. And is that the
Yeah,
kind of thing
they-
they're talking about fixing?
The only site that was really talked about for refreshing, at least for that, were the speed circles that really need a new, either need to be sanded down, whatever that's called, and redone. They weren't particularly talking. He really wasn't really talking about this Nats. He was
Mhm.
talking about what they're going to do after January.
Yeah, but the overfly, I guess I was just talking about the overfly, and the only way they're gonna fix that overfly is flat, basically get rid of the LPAD slash, move that function totally someplace else, so.
Yeah, and a matter of fact, there was more talk about, I was quick to point out that no one brings more people to the Nats than Control Line. It's amazing, but it's true, and the numbers keep going up. And they even talked about relocating all of the Control Line activities.
Great.
Yeah,
Guess I would be curious, first off, I'd like the idea if we could somehow co-locate the control line, so everybody can sort of see each other and everything like that.
yep.
I'd be kind of fond at looking at seeing what they can do, like right up front, right around the headquarters building and stuff like that in the front of the
That's-
site.
That's funny. That's what they talked about.
Yeah, because, one of the things like in the grassy area and stuff, they put or where they put the classic and old time stunt and everything like that. They're talking about putting centers there.
Yep.
And it is hard to get to, but if you go to the main parking lot that we use for the LPAD, the whole back side of that, they could put circles around the back side of that. We could use the back of that parking lot, still have room and everything like that, but that's in the middle of the field.
That's
Well,
right.
we're small enough, if you will, physically don't take up space. It would be good to keep us right up front. Plus,
Absolutely.
we'll be visible from the road, which
Yep.
doesn't hurt anything.
No. So
So,
I think that's very positive. I think Chad's a real good guy.
Mhm.
I'm going to be talking to him next week about a bunch of things, and I think he's a very cooperative person to work with.
okay.
So
Hey, I'm 85 miles from Muncie. If there's anything I can do on site, shout. All right, so,
you could mow it.
I don't mow.
Okay.
Seriously, you put me on a tractor, it's not a pretty sight. All right, so put me on a push mower, it's gonna take a while, so.
Yeah.
Did he
By the
talk
sounds
about,
of it, consider yourselves lucky compared to the lack of leadership and the stuff that's been going on with Mac here.
Hmm.
Oh,
did he talk about,
really?
Get
Did-
involved.
did he talk about changing the website at all?
Yes. Yes,
You
Yep.
go on there and sometimes it's impossible to find things.
absolutely. There were some very good examples. If you're gonna complain about something, you should have some pretty strong evidence. And the people on the call have very specific and accurate problems, with finding things. And for me, I don't think it's a very intuitive site. And Chad remarked that they made a mistake when they revised it the last time, that they didn't put it in the hands of enough users. They were
Mhm.
kind of looking at it from 30,000 feet from the people who wrote it, and they're going to understand it. But I think they'll do a better job next time.
Yeah, I've been on the control line aerobatics contest board for a few years and stuff like that. And it's always an adventure trying to figure out where I am and where the rules are. I can usually get there, but like you say, it's like, well, it ought to be, it's not there, and stuff like that. So,
Absolutely.
so I'm hoping that they, could improve that some. I used to have trouble even finding the planned site of all things. It was hard
Yeah.
to find. And they did improve that, I think, somewhere along the way, maybe the last iteration.
Yeah.
But,
So,
yeah,
I came away with a good feeling after the call.
well, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, they're interested and, they're trying to get at least input from the SIGs. that's as good as you can get, right?
Yeah.
So,
The main topic, I just have to laugh, not laugh, but the main topic for some of the people calling in were the TFRs and all these RC clubs being shut down because of presidential overflights and things like that.
yeah.
Of course, I live in Delaware, and the local club, which runs Warbirds over Delaware, is shut down almost every weekend. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So, we're fortunate,
Mhm.
So that's what it was. Thanks for letting me tell you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me
Yeah, I
welcome
was-
Steve Hines. Hi, Steve Hines. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, Steve, you're talking about field closures. I'm down here in Southern California, in Los Angeles area. And one of the fields I like to fly at is Whittier Narrows is the most popular one, but I like to fly at Apollo 11 too. And that's the one that's in San Fernando Valley. And we got shut down because it's right next to Van Nuys Airport.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, they're talking about a 500-foot limit altitude. We're gonna go 64 feet.
Yeah.
Well, what they didn't realize when they made the rules, as far as the AMA is the ones that shut down the field, is okay, we're shutting it down for RC. Well, we can still fly control line because we're never going to go over 500 feet. But the one thing I never realized, and this is one thing that a lot of people have to realize, is if they're going to shut it down for the RC guys, they have to shut it down for the control line guys, because then there's no discrimination.
Well, there was one, I wish I could find the memory, the record of it and everything like that. When they first started talking about all the altitude limits and stuff like that, somewhere along, I think it was the FAA did not recognize control line as airplanes.
The FAA recognized control line as model airplane flying, and it was all lumped into.
No, they
Yeah.
had it, they had a separate, we were not considered flying models compared to
How they're-
radio and even,
how they're
I don't
displayed.
know how they let the free flights get away with it, frankly, but,
Well, here at Apollo Field, they shut everything down. Free
Sure.
flight, control line, RC, they shut everything down because their altitude was 200 feet,
mhm.
because it's right in the flight path for Van Nuys Airport.
Yeah, they shouldn't be there anyway, but,
Well, I think one time FAA considered control line for planes similar to kites.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I
That's
would
how
agree with
Transport
that.
Canada recognizes it here in Canada. They were specifically exempted from all of the remotely piloted vehicle RC restrictions.
It'd be so easy.
So that's a good thing. It's there was no question about that. They were real quick on that to bring that in and say, no, they're not any threats. So keep doing whatever you're doing.
Seems like it'd be an easy thing for AMA and FAA to work that out, like in
Well,
one 30-minute session.
the biggest thing that brought up the whole shutdown for the RC field, for instance, the biggest thing that brought up the FAA shutdown was all the Kmart drones.
mhm.
Everybody within 5 feet of the Van Nuys Airport ran out to Walmart, ran out to Kmart or Target, and they bought a drone, and they're all flying them in the air. And all these airplanes coming in here going, we got to swap flies out of the way or what?
Well, and the funny thing is that they shut down the club as the organized, representative and everything like that. And none of those people were affected, were they? None of the
No, the
droners,
drones kept flying.
Yeah,
the
well, they
drone
had
fields,
not,
they
well,
shut
they
down.
didn't belong to, they're not AMA members, they're not, they're not club members, they're
No,
just
they're
out,
just
they're
people that
just
went to
out playing with,
Walmart.
using their constitutional rights to be stupid, I mean, I can't comprehend flying that close to an airport,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, what happens if you fly a drone in front of an airplane? You probably crash it. Well, what happens if you're on that airplane?
Yeah,
People don't think like that.
that's it.
Hey,
We've
Mike,
had two
I think I
instances of that in
recognize that
Canada.
plane.
They'll sue the airline for destroying their drone. So,
Probably.
There was one time out there in Southern California, a guy with his RC ship was trying to see how close he could get to a blimp. Well, you
oh,
can
great.
imagine what happened.
Imagine that's gonna be fun.
He ran into the blimp, and created a hole. I don't know what all the final results were, but some serious damage.
Is that the one down in, that the one down in Carson?
Yeah,
I remember
We've
that.
had two serious incidents with drones hitting aircraft here in Canada. One of them was a Royal Canadian Mounted Police helicopter hit by a Royal Canadian Mounted Police drone. There's about $140,000 damage to the chopper. The other was a drone being operated by Ontario Police, provincial police, within Class D airspace at an airport, controlled airport, without authorization, and hit a Cessna 172 on final, causing propeller and cowling damage.
Oh,
And of course, nothing happened out of it because the police investigated themselves and found nothing wrong.
Of course.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I have a question from the chat box. It's Paul Taylor. He says, quick question for Mr. Electric birthday boy. What is the
Oh,
max
no,
amps
okay.
I can charge a 2 to 4S 3000 milliamp hour battery parallel charging to? I'm gonna repeat that.
Yeah,
He's what, trying to charge 2 at a time?
Yeah, so the question is, what is the max amps I can charge a 2 to 4S 3000 milliamp hour
well,
battery
first off,
parallel?
the battery will normally have a rating for how fast it'll take a charge, and it'll be a number something like 3C or 5C or something like that, which means you take whatever the amperage rating of the battery is and you multiply it by 3 or by 5 or something like that. And the label on his battery should be able to tell him that. The next limit is that just because you can charge it that fast doesn't mean that your charger is up to the job. It might top out at a certain limit. And in fact, I got my favorite charger right now. I can charge 4-cell at I think up to 10 amps, but if I got a 6-cell, I can only charge it something like 3 amps. Period. That's just all the power available, when it's spread over 6 cells.
I think what he's asking on the parallel board, that's a 3000 milliamp pack.
Mhm.
This 1C, that's 3 amps. 2 batteries would be 6 amps, 4 batteries, 12 amp, So,
And if you put it on at 3 amps, are you basically going to divide it, 1.5 to each, or 1 amp to 3 packs or something like that?
that's how they figure it, but
Yeah. See, I'm not actually charging anything on a parallel board, so I don't, deal with that. I just know that, that people get hung up on the charge rate, and they get, there's 2 barriers: how fast can the battery take it, and in fact, how fast can the charger deliver it? So, and then if you're going to put it on a parallel board, well, you need a lot more power behind it. You're talking 24-volt inputs instead of 12 volts and stuff like that. It's kind of generic, I guess. So, I would, Paul Taylor, write a personal message to Will DeMoro. He's on Stunthangar, and Will is an expert on that charger. I can't even think of the name of it. Steve, you have, what's the big charger everybody uses? The 24-volt system.
oh, you have one, Charles. What's that one?
Oh, Cell Pro.
Cell
Pro?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But Paul, write a note to Will DeMoro on Stunthangar, send him a personal message. Tell him what you got. Tell him the equipment that you have and what you're trying to do, and he
I'll be
should be
right
able to
back.
fill in all the blanks
All right.
for you.
Yeah. Charles, I'm gonna have to shut down. It's getting over 40 knots now, a nasty cell coming this way, and I better check on stuff in my yard.
All right.
So-
Thank you for coming in, Bob.
You guys have a good time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See you,
Bob.
man.
Hey, good to see you again, Bob. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye now.
Bye.
My goodness. It's so windy, it blew him off the air. So
Yeah.
that's some serious internet trouble, baby. So
Hey, Mike. He's got his mic
yeah,
muted.
he's muted and got his buddy,
He has
he's got
Chris
his
with
neighbor
him.
there.
Chris is on the side. You can't see Chris.
Oh, Chris is there?
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming
Hey,
back.
Mike's back.
What's up? I'm here, man. What's going on?
Hey, I think I recognize that silver airplane.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to find a tank for it. And I put a LA-40 on it, and we're gonna run it on a suction tank. Old slow combat Steve gave us, and it's gonna be a stunt trainer for Chris.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that 35 that you had didn't fit on the mounts that were on it. You noticed that, right?
Yeah, I just stuck it. It didn't work. I just put it on the other one. It's
Right.
there. It's all together.
But fortunately, TJ gave me this when I stopped in Dayton,
Oh, nice.
and it's just got a bone stock crappy crappy forks on it, busted tail. But we're gonna fix that. Steve, the Fox 35 that you said had the Brian Gardner internals is gonna go on this for Chris.
Oh, okay.
We'll have this, and I'm teaching Chris how to do old school sewn hinges right now.
All
He's-
right.
He's sewing hinges on an old slow combat plane. Another one that we put a 40 on with a suction tank in the wing. That's going to be another stunt trainer for him. And well, I got more stuff to show, but I'd have to close my garage to do it. You can barely see the tip of a Strega wing sticking out
Oh,
up
I
there.
see it. That's the
Yeah.
same Strega I have.
Yeah,
Hey, Charles is waxing the static on that, huh?
I'll close the garage later and show you that. That's a Strega with a Super Tiger 60 that TJ, he's been trying to get that to Sam for like 2 years, and I finally just got it picked up. But we're gonna see if Samuel can hang on to a 60 size stunt ship and just turn him loose on it and see what happens. Because what I would really like, I still don't know if he's strong enough to do it, but I would like when he's strong enough to be able to pass him my SV11 with the PA65 so I can start flying this new ship with the 75. But we're going to do a test of strength with the Strega and the Tiger 60 and see if he can fly a pattern with it. I don't think he can. I think he's too skinny and too small, and he's too weak. You're too weak, boy. You're too weak.
Tell me yes to pump it up, man.
How much
But-
does that Strega weigh? Do you know?
Fill
It's
his
actually,
pants full of sand.
it's pretty light, Charles. I didn't think it was a pig at all.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it did not feel. I mean, I didn't put it on a scale. I didn't have a chance to put it on a scale, but I had to get it up off the floor. I hung it up on the ceiling because, I mean, I don't know if you could see
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's. And those two boxes are full of combat planes. Those are all combat planes. There's more lining up the wall. I ended up, I think I bought 47 combat airplanes from the guy in Michigan. And then
Oh,
Steve
geez.
gave us 3 combat wings plus that Vector ARF there. That's one of Samantha's old Vector ARFs. And no, that's not an ARF. That's a kit, wasn't it, Steve?
I don't know. We bought that. I'm trying. The guy from North Carolina, he makes a doodle bug or something. The guy who made that motor. I can't think of his name now.
Well, so Steve gave us that for Chris, and also Steve gave Chris his first IC control line engine.
Nice.
Gave him a LA 46, brand new, never run, to go in the Vector. So Chris got some swag on the Michigan trip too. He ended up with, even though he didn't go with me and share the driving, he got some airplanes out of the deal.
Sounds good. I hope he at least buys you a 6-pack for that. But
Well, he showed up with a with a bong.
Oh my
Even
God.
better.
Nice.
How you doing, Mike?
But yeah, we got. Oh, I gotta show you this too, because this was the best part. Besides the 47 airplanes,
You told
there's.
me,
Oh, wow.
you told me meeting up with me and at lunch was the best part of that.
Well, yeah, that was good, but that. So these are 8 Cyclone PC4 15s. It's an early version of the Cyclone engine. They're not legal for current F2D. Oh, that's a 4 that I bought from Dane. Sorry. This is the Cyclone PC4. So you see the Venturis on one side and the heads on the other. They're kind of interesting motors.
Never seen that.
Yeah, needle valve and Venturi is opposite of the head. But I got 8 of these from Joe Sr. and Joe Jr. This is what they were flying back in, 2000, 2005, 2006. They're not legal anymore because the Venturis are too big and the mufflers are too big. But they're not legal for FAI F2D. They're legal for Outlaw F2D, which is F2D Fast, which they fly here in the States. And they basically created that event because once FAI said this stuff's not legal anymore, a bunch of guys had motors they couldn't do anything with. So, AMA created an event, which is called AMA Fast. So
is there anything can be done to the old motor, choke it down or anything like that? Or do they just not run then?
Yeah, you can, but they're not going to be top notch because they're not designed to run with a smaller Venturi and a smaller muffler. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're just not made to do that. So that's what they did is they came up with, F2D Fast, which is a different event than FAI. You can run all this stuff. It's run what you brung, at the track kind of deal. And they're good practice motors too, though. Sam and I can put these on airplanes and go practice with them. They're just not legal in a sanctioned F2D contest.
Mike, is that a 15?
That's a 15, yeah. Cyclone PC4 15.
Alan DeVoe used to run that engine years ago. Like early 2000s, Alan DeVoe ran that. And it was a screamer.
Yeah, they're gonna be just fine for practice motors and for F2 Fast. I got about 100 props, 100 F2D props in this bag. Wow. They're the props they were running on those motors. So.
Have 4s.
Yeah, there's some 7s in there too, and then the other good score. Well, so this is my depleted roll of Fastcal, which I'm almost out of. Right there. That's an entirely brand new box of Fastcal.
Nice.
Almost a whole roll of unobtainium Fastcal. So it was very cool meeting Joe and Joe, and they were good guys. They're just out of the sport, and they had a bunch of equipment that they weren't going to use anymore. So we wheeled and dealed, and I got some stuff for Sam to break into the world of F2D with.
Very good. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for the show and tell.
Chris is still sewing over here. He's learning hinges the old-fashioned way.
Hey, Chris, how you doing, Chris?
Doing great. How are you?
Yeah.
Did you give him a thimble?
No thimble. But Dennis will get a kick out of this. He's using Spectre line to make those hinges.
Woo!
Yeah.
Good idea.
That's it. We used to use
Hey, Mike,
flying line or something like
Mike,
that.
is Chris coming to Brodak?
No, he's not coming to Brodak. He can't.
A slight tip for Chris. If
I wish he was.
a slight tip for Chris, if he just zap glues the end of that string, he won't have to keep licking it.
Did what with it?
Oh, put a little CA on the end of the string to stiffen it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's a good tip. I want him to struggle, man. I want him to
I was
suffer,
over here
man.
burning it with my
They
lighter.
told me
Yeah,
to
you
keep licking
got
it.
to learn it the old fashioned way, right?
Oh, you
Which
didn't
is-
actually give him a needle to run it through and sew it?
No, dude. This is an old slow combat. We
He's-
drill
he's
big
like-
holes. You don't need a needle to do that because with it, you just need to make one pass in an 8 on each of the hinges. But something he did figure out pretty quick. He started on the outside first, and then he's like, "Oh wait, I can't get the thread to the inside. You got to start from the inside and go to the outside if you're gonna."
I used to work from the left to the right or from the right to the left, and just
That's what I did my second go around.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it going. We got all kinds of good stuff. Lots of beaters in here. Steve, that one that you had, hand me that one, Chris. I'm not gonna make that a stunt trainer for Chris on second thought. This is one that Steve gave us as well,
wow, look at that.
and it's an old F2D wing, but somebody put a longer boom on it, right?
Mhm.
And it's just too nice of an airplane to give to Chris. We're gonna put a 25 on it and use it in speed limit, man.
Very nice.
What is the speed limit? It's 75, right?
75, yeah.
Oh, that's not an old slow. Someone did that to it.
Yes, because if you look at it, there should have been an elevator right here. Somebody put a boom on there. This boom is added where there should have been a stabilator right here on the back of the airplane.
Okay.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
somebody made this, and they did a really good job too. I mean, it's awesomely done, but it's too nice for Chris to pile in while he's learning stunt. So we're gonna put this one into the rotation.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I bought all of them for like $5. I didn't know what I was buying, but for $5.
Well, Sam's already claimed it. He wants it, so
See, I thought that was a slow, and I thought that Fox 35 with that Brian Gardner that was supposed to do 130 miles an hour could go on that for him to fly. You know,
It's 425, I
it's
think.
it's too small for a slow. That's an F2D wing. It's
Oh,
too
okay.
small. Slows are big, which is counterintuitive to what you think slow should be, right? But
that's the silver one, right? That's the old
right, yeah. Slows have massive wings and really, really, really long booms on them. That's just
Here.
what they ended up being. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a slow wing right there. And I got to go way back here so you can see
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
how big it is.
Wow. Yeah, it is nice.
Steve, the eliminator that's a slow wing. Look how big that wing is. And then look how long the boom is.
Okay. All right.
And because they actually have a real nose on them for a suction tank.
Right. Yeah, I knew. Oh, I knew that. I didn't know if. Oh, yeah, that's right. The other one's for bladder, isn't it?
It is.
I didn't know what I had, Mike. I just bought the damn things, and they were.
No, Steve, they're great. They all have their purpose and they're all going to work just fine, man. We appreciate all of it. And the Vector, especially the Vector. We got to
Yeah.
break a bunch of this garbage here, but I already told Chris, I said, once he flies that Vector, he's probably not going to want to fly any of this garbage anymore, you know? But we got to get.
That was a really good flying airplane. The reason why we stopped flying it is the tail wheel broke off. And we put it up and started flying other ones, and then you still gotta put the tail wheel in. I made up another tail wheel for it, and we just never flew it again. It just sat in the basement. So, but yeah, that thing was trimmed really nice for the LA 46, and Samantha flew the crap out of that. She flew it up Rodak and everything.
Well, I guess I'll dangle a carrot, man. I'll tell him he can have it when he can fly a full pattern on one of these slow combat planes. He can have the Vector.
Yeah, because that's I burn up the ones that don't fly good. I don't give them away. That was a really good flying airplane.
Right.
And then we went to electric and there was no need then for me to fix it. So
You don't need any more airplanes, Samuel. My gosh. Sam's over here. Give it to me. Give it to me. If it flies good, give it to me.
Then again, Mike, you've also got to realize that sometimes, depending on how late you stay at the flying field, sometimes garbage is good to have just because sometimes by the end of the day, you're just not with it.
Yeah, well, he's just learning and just figured out inverted and H. So he's got the pattern to learn. So there's going to be some attrition there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We're going to have to throw airplanes at the pattern. That hourglass is going to get him probably the first time. He's probably going to lose one in the hourglass first time. Overhead H is going to get him because he's going to get messed up and get the airplane behind his head and crash. I mean, I know. Listen, I trained one already. I know all the weak points of where they crash airplanes at, and Sam struggled with a lot of stuff, and but once it clicks, it clicks. So you don't want to. Chris has already asked about building an airplane. When can I build one? And I'm like, not till you can fly. There's no.
Let him go ahead and let him build one, but start.
Don't let him fly it.
Like a
Lock it in a safe till he can.
Start with something simple like a ring master.
let them build a profile or something like that, a profile stunt plane, even just like a straight old Goldberg, profile.
Right. I understand that. No, he's talking about building a real stunt ship, and I'm like, no, don't do that, man.
Don't build a Nobler to learn how to fly. No, I get that.
Don't need to. I got 2 Nobler ARFs up there that are garbage can airplanes that he can pile in,
Yeah, but until.
And I'm encouraging the piling in. Like, make mistakes, crash the planes, clear this crap out of my garage. Let's get some of this stuff out of here.
I can do that for you.
Because if he wasn't flying and learning right now, I'd be taking this stuff to the Nats or the contests and trying to give them away to people that are learning, which is exactly, they're fulfilling their need, their destiny at the end of their life. Somebody who's learning needs lots of stuff to just go out and no investment, no time, no money, go fly it. If it ends up in the trash can, so be it.
Well, if anybody, Mike, you got a ton of airplanes. Just look at them all hanging around you.
Yeah, Viking funerals, man. That's what I like.
And I'm good at them.
Yeah, he's good at them. And he's not apologetic either when he crashes my stuff, man.
Oh.
He didn't even say I'm sorry. I'm like,
Yeah, he looks at
I'm
you.
like,
and
it's
says,
okay. We'll get another one down. We'll get another one ready. Because I mean, I never had.
He probably says to you, Mike, if you hadn't gave me junk, it wouldn't have crashed.
Well, yeah, there's that. Because he did notice the difference. The Cardinal that he crashed at Joe Nall, when he flew that here, he was like, wow, that flies better than anything I've flown of yours yet. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good airplane, but that's why I haven't really given it to you yet. Then he crashed it at Joe Nall.
That was the first plane you took out of the truck, and I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
I know they got to earn the better flying planes. I totally understand that. I've given my friend Carl Reed some crappy airplanes to fly, and most of my crappy planes are gone. Now what's left with some pretty good flying planes.
right. And that's where I'd like to get. I just need the room.
I can see that.
I've got 10 airplanes we can just throw at Chris and just let him tear up, and I don't even care. I'm just going to kamikaze him through the pattern and be like, okay, try this maneuver, see what happens. And if the plane breaks, we'll get another one out.
Yeah.
And we'll kamikaze through the next maneuver and just keep going till we run out of stuff.
Yeah, I wish my friends Joe and Carl had that opportunity to have planes to go through. That'd be great, because right now they just have a few good flying planes, and they're just very careful with them.
Yeah, but if they learn to fly junk, when they get their hands on a real good one, they're like,
man,
oh, this is easy. Oh, this is so much better. This is so much better.
Yeah, I know.
True.
They probably go, Charles, you don't fly that good after all. I thought you was really good, but you just have better airplanes than I do.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, did them skates fit or not?
Oh yeah, yeah. They did. I took a picture already. Yeah, she loved them. I need Sammy's address so I can
Yeah.
send her a thank you card, but thank you. Yes.
They did. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that they fit or just pass them on to somebody else, you know.
They're all good.
Let me say hi to Lynn Burrell. Thank you for coming in, Lynn. I
Hey
appreciate
guys,
it.
good to see you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Mike.
mic off because we're gonna
Oh,
get.
All
I
right, no
got it.
problem.
Good
Thanks.
stuff.
Thank you, Mike. So what you been up to, Lynn?
Get it
Oh,
cleared?
it's done, but it
All
looks
right.
like shit.
Why is that?
Just looks awful. It's
What happened?
some parts are shiny, some parts aren't shiny. It's splattered all over the place too. Oh, it's a mess.
Oh no.
He's
Yeah.
just
Naomi
waiting.
lets
He's
you
just
use their-
waiting for the light for it to get a little darker out so he can shine the lights on it and we can see how, it'll just, blind us all with its
Well, the thing
shine, that's
is,
all. Yeah.
You know what? And the stuff didn't go that far. I used almost the whole can on it.
Uh-huh.
2 coats.
Did
But
you really?
it only added a half an ounce.
Really?
Yeah, it only added a half an
Oh,
ounce.
you got
That's not
lucky.
bad.
Hey, can we see it?
Yeah, I can show it to you.
All right.
Hang on.
Thank you.
We'll give you,
Awesome.
we'll give you between a 1 and a 10.
Yeah, probably between a 1 and a 5.
Oh,
Well, at least
shucks.
it's not a 1 and a 2. Hey, Paul Taylor, if you're still online, this is what I was talking about before. You see on the top of the battery where it says 30C,
Yeah.
right next to it, there's a slash and it says 6C.
Oh, okay.
30C means that's the maximum that it will discharge at. All right. So this is a 2.5 mil, 2,500, 2.5. So it'll discharge at 30 times 2.5. 75. The 6C means that you can charge that at a maximum of 6 times 2.5. Okay.
Okay.
And then here's an older battery and this same kind of thing. This is an old 20C battery that you could charge it up to 3C. All right. So that's what I was trying to get through before. And you talk about how fast can I charge the battery? Well, if you exceed that, it's a bad thing. So, and this here is only an 850 milliamp. This is a little half-A size battery. So it's easy to go, to put this on a charger that'll overcharge it. So
Hey,
that's what I was trying to talk about. If you look at your batteries or the material, the packaging with the battery and stuff like that, it should tell you what your limits are on the.
hey, I wonder
particular
if
cell.
so you don't overheat your battery when you're charging it, you could stick it in your refrigerator.
Then you can barbecue all your food in the refrigerator at the same time when you overcharge it. Yes, yes. You can go from
And when you plug it in,
from frozen to flash fried,
when
instantly.
you plug it in, it says trust in the force.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, before I forget, I have a question. A buddy of mine is contemplating getting a Viking, and he asked me what my opinion was of it. I said I didn't know anything about the Viking. Anybody have
Good
any
old time
opinion?
plane. I've got one. I've been
What do you
flying it
think
for
about it?
years. Yeah, it's good. It's a good airplane
right.
if it's built straight. Yeah, no problem with it.
All right, Keith.
The Viking is, I just redid the kit for Brodak. The original kit was done with a planked leading edge that wasn't strictly correct to the original design. And it was kind of funny that John Miskey, who was a friend of John Brodak's and everything like that, had personally vouched for the airplane, said, yeah, it's okay that way and stuff because the airfoil didn't change. Well, there's a lot of people didn't like the fact that, the original Viking didn't have a planked leading edge and the kit did. So I re-engineered it. In the process of doing that, I found 4 different sets of plans for the Viking, one from the original kit, and
Wow.
then 3 other later ones and stuff like that. Based on those 4 plans, I could find a plan that would disqualify any Viking ever built, including ones built from the original kit. All right. So, yeah. So I really researched it and I really took obviously used the original kit plan as the Bible, but there were some, I changed the structure around on it to make it a little easier, a little more sensible to build. and, reinforce the landing gear and stuff like that in a ways that the original kit weren't and stuff like that. But all along in Windy Way is saying the Viking is not a bad airplane at all. It's easy to build light, and
That's true.
and it's, build straight and everything, like keep it straight, which is, that's not exactly rocket science. That applies to anything you're gonna build.
Anything.
Yeah. But I think it's a good one. I'm gonna try to not try. I'm gonna be bringing mine to Brodak this year. I haven't had it at a contest yet. and,
Awesome.
Gonna break it in.
Was the Viking a full fuse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Now hang on tight. I'll go get mine.
All right.
be
Let me
back
see,
in a minute.
let me see, Lynn's plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Make
All
it
right,
big,
here we
Lynn.
go.
there we go.
Make you big. You are big, Lynn.
All
Look at it,
right.
looks good. Polar bear.
Polar bear.
Very nice.
Those look nice.
It looks
The
Thank
look of
good.
the airplane is beautiful.
Yeah, it turned out okay. I'm just not really happy with the finish. It just, like on the wing, I don't know if you can see, it's shiny in spots and not shiny in others. You can't really see it on here, but
Were
you'll
you
see
too-
it at Brodax.
Just
Were you
like it
too
on-
far away, Len?
I was only 10 inches or less.
I can't believe you used up the whole can when I got so much left over.
Yeah, I used the entire can and it only gained a half an ounce.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not the entire can. I'd say I used more than 3/4 of it because that's how I got the splatters on the wing, because when it got near the end of the can, it
Oh,
wasn't coming
snap.
out evenly.
Oh, snap.
So what I'm thinking I might do is give it a light sanding with 2000 grit, sand the whole top anyway, and give it another spray just on the top.
Yeah.
you might, before you do that, I'll find that damn polishing compound and see if you
Okay.
polish that up, that won't,
That looks good. Bottom, I
That
like that
won't-
bear.
all that won't come right out, Len.
Yeah, I
It's
like
that
it's got-
stuff polishes like crazy. It's so
can
hard.
see it, but I can see the splatter marks, right? And I don't like that. I mean, it looks awful with the splatter on the wing.
Well,
Yeah.
you
Clear
can
splatter.
take
Hey,
some
Len.
2000 and sand that down flat and then
Right.
then repolish it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
About the bad
gonna,
blonde.
I'm gonna try. The thing is, after I polish it, like I have to use some sort of a compound. If it doesn't turn out well, can I still spray another coat on?
Wait.
Then I'm in a situation where I gotta try and get the polish off. You see what I mean? So I don't know what to do.
Lynn, do you have any Neverdull?
Huh? No, I
Do you
don't
have
have,
any Neverdull? It's a blue can,
no, I don't have that.
cotton wadding that's got.
I mean,
polish.
I've been researching on the internet today, the stuff that Sparky uses, that McGuire's stuff. I mean, I can get some of that stuff and rub it. I just don't know what exactly to do because I haven't rubbed too many airplanes. And when I have rubbed them, I usually use all the wrong things. So
See
I
if
don't
you-
know.
see if you can find some Neverdull.
Yeah, I don't know if they
think
have
I
it here in
have some
Canada. I
here.
can check.
I think I
I'll
have
check.
some here. I mean, I could send it to you, but you wouldn't get it for a month.
No, don't worry about that.
Neverdull was made for mag tires.
Neverdull
Okay.
is made for aluminum.
Well,
wheels.
yeah, see, on my last big airplane that I did, that big orange one I had a few years back, I used Mothers on it. And it worked, I think it was mag wheel stuff or something.
Mag Bright or Mag Wheel Bright, Mag.
Yeah, it's
know what
Mothers
you're talking
anyway.
about.
Yeah, but anyway, it worked okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. I could always try that on here too. Just try it on a small area and see what it does.
That's pretty much the same thing as Neverdull.
Okay, well, you know what I'm gonna do?
Neverdull is like a big Q-tip that you just pull out of a can.
So what
Yeah,
I'm
just
gonna
start
do is I'm
rubbing.
gonna sand it down with 2000 anyway. I'll try a couple of things on it. If it seems to polish up okay, I'll just polish it. If not, I will spray one more coat on it and be done with it. Whatever happens.
Yeah,
You know,
I was
Hey,
kinda-
I just don't
have
want to, I just don't want to add too much weight. I'm at 61.5 ounces.
Oh, yeah,
right
it's
now.
nice. Oh,
So
that's sweet.
it's reasonable and I don't want to have it
Sure.
become unreasonable. So.
I have a
61
comment
ounces,
from,
Len, what are you gonna do? You're gonna ballast it up or what? So
What's that? Yeah.
you're gonna add,
exactly.
you're gonna add some weight to that to get it up in your wheelhouse or not?
He's gonna Velcro a brick to the bottom of it.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
about it.
I'm gonna pull the 60 out of it and I'll throw the 90 in tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, Lynn, I have a comment from Al Fierro. He says, that's called flow coat.
Flow coat. What is flow coat?
I don't know. He's going to probably respond. And Al Fierro, thank you for the super chat. 1999. Appreciate that so much.
I assume the stuff I sprayed it, what he's saying is that's flow coat.
That's what I think he's saying. Yeah.
But anyway, what it was is, as you guys know, it's the 2K Spray Max.
Right.
But I've got another full can of it here, and if I decide to, I'll just do one more coat. But what I'll do is I'll probably just do the top. I won't do the bottom.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I wonder if it would work better to just spray half the can and then break a new can open.
Well, I that's where I made the mistake, is that I kept going until the can was almost done. And I thought,
Okay.
oh, I shouldn't have done that. Like, as soon as I looked at it after that, oh no, this may not work out so well. But once it's done, it's done.
Yeah,
You know, so
it's always a big oops.
and it's like, and the other thing is that I didn't know how much weight it was going to add, and it's wet. I can't go pick it up and go weigh it while it's wet. I'm in a predicament where it's like, oh my God, I've used almost a whole can on here, and now I'm worried that it's going to be too heavy. I better not put any more on. If I'd have known that it was only a half an ounce, I'd have just opened the other can and shot one more time. But I didn't, and I'm thinking, oh, I can't just keep shooting this stuff on, or I'm going to get myself in a lot of trouble. I'll have me another 90-ounce airplane.
Yeah. So Al said the sand and re-clear. Al Fierro just says sand.
That's what I think too. I think I should just sand it down with 2000, give it a nice sanding, and then go one more time.
You know
And
something,
then
Lynn?
polish
You know
from
something,
there.
Lynn, though? Don't stop at the top. Do the whole thing again.
Okay.
Everywhere it looks bad, just sand it down and do the whole thing, because if you
Like, you
be
can
happy
see,
with
if
the
you
top.
look at even my top block, it's
I
not
see
even.
it.
You see it? You can
I see
see it.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's shiny in spots, and it's not, and you know what? There was no humidity that day. The humidity was 49%.
Yeah, but Lynn, do the whole airplane. Otherwise, you're just not going to be happy with it.
But
You won't be happy if it gets too much, if it gets too heavy also.
Yeah, so I'm gonna see. I'll think about it. Whatever. I'm not gonna go stupid with it. I just don't. I'm more interested in not having it get too heavy than having it be a concourse airplane. I don't care so
Yeah,
much
but
about the
you
look.
gain-
It's other people care about the look, not so much me.
What was the clear that you used? What clear?
Spray Max 2K Clear Glamour.
Oh, okay.
It's extremely fuel proof and it's bulletproof hard. I can tell you that, but I don't know. I'm just not impressed with the finish at this point, but we'll see what we can do with it.
It's going to be fun to sand.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go too hard at it, I can tell you. I'm just going to try it on a couple of the little splatter spots and see what it does. If it doesn't sand worth a damn, I won't bother.
And just fly the plane and have fun with it, right?
That's right. You know what?
There you
There's another plane next year. Don't worry about it.
Always
Hey,
a
Len,
no.
fly the
Yeah.
airplane and find out if it's worth
That's a good idea.
polishing it out, right?
That's a good
Great-
point too.
Great idea.
That's a really
Yes.
good idea, Dennis. You're right.
Yeah, that is
It's
a good
ready,
idea.
Dennis.
It's
Dennis,
ready to
that's-
go. So I
Dennis,
should.
that's a bear.
Yeah, you should
It's
fly
gonna
it
be
now and
good.
see what you think, and then
Yeah.
then you can weigh how much more paint you can put on it too.
I ran the motor on the block again the other day and it was running really well. I've got it sort of dialed in at 9,500 and I found out what my fuel consumption was going to be. It's just over 6 ounces. So I had to make a custom tank today. Today I made a custom 7-ounce tank for it and got everything put in. I started at 7 this morning and I didn't stop till about a half an hour ago.
What motor?
Wow.
What's that? Rojet 61.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Do you build
Hey,
tin
Len?
tanks, Len?
I'm sorry?
Len,
build
I'll be
tin
glad
tanks?
to talk to the appearance judges at Brodak.
Are you ready, Dennis?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
so. Somebody was
Okay.
asking what a Viking was.
Yeah, matter of
Wow,
fact,
look at that.
my friend Keith Bozell is on. He says, thanks. Hope I get the Viking old time. You asked the question now. I got my answer. So now you
That
can
looks
see it.
sharp.
That's
That
Very
nice.
looks
nice.
sharp. You're right, Lynn. That is sharp
You know
looking.
what? He's got one of the nicest Vikings I've ever seen. I
That
by far
is-
have the ugliest Viking you'll ever see.
Wow, that
I
is
can
really
prop.
pretty.
Yeah, you could ask Keith also. I think, Keith has been competing in old time for a long time. I don't think the Viking is considered what you would call one of the top three or something like that, the humongous and stuff like that. But what I find is the little bit of time I've had on this thing, I like how it flies in the wind and stuff like that.
That's got a nice thin airfoil, so it does fly good in the wind.
Yeah, I've seen some others. I've seen some humongi, if you will, that I just didn't think handled the wind very well.
That is
And,
really pretty.
Dennis, what's the finish on there?
Brodak color coat,
Okay.
China
Wow.
coat by any other name. This
Looks
is
nice.
actually the same batch of stuff I had that I used on the other, on the Mobest, but this was the purple and the other was pink.
I look
Do
at
you-
that. I
Do
look
you
at that.
polish
And
that film or what? Do you wax it or polish it?
No, that's just normal.
Wow, it's
That's
really
how
shiny.
you, if you hold it right and shine the lights on it and stuff, that's the other way that you try to blind the appearance judge and stuff like that.
yeah.
I
You gotta
see.
read, any of you guys like the old articles, you gotta read the old, I think it was Jim Kostecki, I think it was in the Talon article, and he talks about, not showing it, bringing his airplane out because he was waiting for it to get really dark so that the hangar lights would really, really shine and everything like that. And that's the things they used to do and stuff like that. They used to judge
That
the
is-
appearance in the Navy work hangar under the lights and a lot of, glare and stuff like that. But boy, if you got something like a well done I-beam in those conditions, it would absolutely blind you. They
See,
were
Dennis
spectacular.
has got a 2-night finish. Look at that. It's gorgeous. I got a 200,000 hour finish and it looks like a bag of, you know what?
Yeah, well, I don't know what my total finish weight was. More than your half-ounce clear coat, but probably less than your total finish. And
Oh, most definitely.
so,
The
And-
compression ain't that good on that motor though, Dennis.
yeah, that's it. It's one of those zero displacement engines that Keith was talking about before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's it's made to run at 50,000 RPM. I
Hey
think it was.
Dennis, maybe you should put a new glow plug in it.
Your compression's kind of sloppy on that, isn't it?
Well, that's why I don't use diesel fuel. All right. So
Yeah.
compression ignition just isn't much.
I
So
think it needs a glow. I think it needs a glow plug.
yeah.
I got
That
to
is
fly,
really
I got
pretty.
to fly, I got to fly one of those for a season. I have a habit of sometimes losing airplanes. And Frank McMillan had one of these and he let me borrow it from one VSC to the next. And I flew it quite a lot, did pretty good with it. I'm not saying it's like, I think Charles said, it's not one of those top performing old time airplanes, but it was adequate and fun to fly. And is big, it's got a lot of area. I think mine had a Super Tiger 60 on it. When I
Yeah,
flew.
that's it. It was originally designed for the what Class D engines, Fox
Yeah.
59s and Orwicks and things like that.
Wow.
And when I did the kit for Brodak, I engineered the front motor mount spacing in such a way that you could put anything from like an LA 40 to a Fox 59 in it, just by shimming the mounts and stuff like that. And the shims come with the kit and everything like
Cool.
that. So I was pretty happy with that. And there's a pretty good space for a fuel tank if you're running a big engine and stuff. But then one other thing that I actually made the note on the plans, one thing that John Miskey was really serious about on old time airplanes was getting the wheel position in the original position. And based on the original plans, that was 3 inches behind the nose ring. All right.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
So-
Realistically, Dennis, short of the shape of the rudder, that thing looks like a built-up Buster.
That's about it. Well, the original airplane, I guess, came with a pre-built fuselage. it's what, 1950 or 49 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a prefab fuselage. You had to build the wing, and I'm guessing I've seen different shapes on the rudder, the fin. They're, generally the same, but I'm guessing that they probably had kind of just an angled up, thing, and they just showed people put a radius on it or something like that,
Yeah.
Squared off, that thing would be a built-up Buster.
Well, that's it. And I suppose, if you really wanted to follow that a little farther, put some cheek cowls on it and stuff like that. But
You could make a Buster out of a Viking kit. That'd be pretty cool.
it would.
That's a bigger wing though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about a 570 square inch wing, which, put it in perspective, the Barnstormer is about 100 square inches smaller. All right.
I think the Buster was only like 40.
Yeah, the profile Buster is
inches?
about just over 400.
It's
So
like 42 or 46 inches. It's really small.
yeah, the Buster is 40 inches. This is, all right.
Yeah, the Buster was 40
I think
inch
this
span.
is 51.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think so. But it does look like a big Buster.
Yeah,
Very
you can
nice,
fly the
cool.
thing the way it is. I'm pretty confident you could fly it with any competent 35 or anything like that.
I got a
40
Fox
or
35
would
in
be
mine.
better.
Yep,
There you
Fox
go.
35 in mine. It's got enough power, no problem at all.
I
Even
know
on
a guy that
day.
really likes those engines.
Yeah, I know a guy who really likes those too.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And
That's
let me
it.
say hi to Steve. Steve, thanks for coming in, Steven.
Oh, how's it?
Doing well, man.
Hey,
Doing
Steve.
well. Hey, Dennis, are those white stripes tape, or is that did you cut the film and iron those on?
I cut the film.
Wow, a lot of work.
Wow.
The checkerboard is monocoat trim sheet, and everything else is just regular monocoat or color coat or whatever.
It
I
looks
have
sharp.
Boy,
yeah.
you did a really nice job. I mean, all the planes you've shown are so pretty, Dennis. I'm really
That's all.
amazed.
That's all the iron-on covering, Dennis?
Yep.
Nice, very nice job.
Dennis, I think you're pretty too.
Thank you very much for that. So
Now, has that
can I stand with
plane-
with my airplane for appearance judging then, Mark?
You should.
All
Yeah,
right.
you should. Yeah, you should.
Instead of my airplane?
Well,
No.
give a couple of
Maybe
No.
points
that's
to
not
Len.
true.
Just when you stand with it, Dennis, put a little powder on and stuff so you don't shine as much as your airplane. You would.
Got it. Maybe I'll powder up the airplane. It'll cover up all the dull spots. Len, take that. Take that to note. Just powder it up and get rid of the shiny spots.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. You get it flat
That's-
everywhere.
Yeah, flat
Couple
finish.
of coats of flat coat. That'll do it.
Mhm.
Fixed.
How many appearance points do you anticipate getting with that plane?
0.
Ooh.
0? Or is it 0 in old time or what?
Yeah, there's
Exactly.
no appearance in
Okay.
old time.
That's a pretty plane. I'm curious if he was to put it in some other event, what kind of appearance points you would get. 'Cause I think it's really
Oh.
pretty.
It'd be a 12 or 13 point airplane.
I'd
That's
still
all
like-
that's all
I'd
they
like-
get for monocoque.
I'd like to see that zero displacement motor though, or zero stroke.
Yeah, well, that's it. It has no stroke at all. So,
I saw a picture of one of those once.
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that article that they did on that.
Yeah.
I think it was in the April 1st magazine
Something like
issue
that.
or something
Yeah.
like that. So, but
Very
yeah,
good. Hey,
that's 0, it's all, if you will, it's what would you call it? All rotation, no stroke, no piston stroke. So what the
Yeah.
hell?
Does that qualify?
Not only that,
for
it even
ignition?
spins backwards. All right, so
all right.
What'd you say, Steve?
So does that qualify for ignition? Spark?
this wouldn't, but if I put a brush motor in it, all right, an old style brush motor, I would fly it in Sparky. All right. Let the C
Awesome.
give the CD a headache on that one, you know?
Thank you.
Sparky.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just fly it at night
Yeah.
so you can see the sparks.
If I,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. Hey, mine's
Yeah.
Sparks. I can't see the sparks in yours. What do
Yeah.
you mean yours is a Sparky? You
Well,
know?
let's give Mark a hard time, and we're not even at Rodax yet. What a great idea.
Well, I've been working on Mark already. So
Oh my
Listen,
goodness.
If you guys have 5 minutes, and I don't think you've heard of this. This is a very true story, though,
All right.
and it'll
Okay.
give you an idea of who you're dealing with.
All right.
I was flying giant scale aerobatics before I went back to control line. So I went up to Brodak and bought a Pathfinder. Okay.
Yeah.
And I started on the wing because that's what I usually do. And I had the controls in, and I was working on the tip weight box. And I was really having trouble with it. Okay. So I called my buddy, Tom Smeltzer, and he said, "What do you mean you're having trouble with it?" And I said, "Well, the lead outs are getting in the way."
That's awesome. I love
So
it.
he said, "Send me a picture." So I used my phone. I sent him a picture. And he said, "Most people put the tip weight box in the other wing, the outboard wing, to offset the weight of the lines and all that." I said, "Oh, well," it kind of annoyed me because I really did a beautiful job on this tip weight box. It was like a
Right.
work of art. So I carved it out and I patched the thing and I put it into the other wing. So I called him and I said, "It's done." He said, "Send me a picture." So I sent him a picture. He calls me back. He said, "Most people put the tip weight box on the bottom of the wing."
I told you that the first time.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah. Why didn't he tell you that the first time?
Oh
You
my
should have said to
God.
him.
So I cut it out of the top of the wing and I put the
Put
thing
it on the bottom of the wing. Oh my God, Mark. Oh.
So,
Wow.
so Pampa is in great trouble. I'll tell you that. That was my introduction.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, an expert is somebody who's made the maximum number of mistakes in a minimum field of breadth field of endeavor. So
I like that.
Well, here's a good story. I have a wire bender for bending 1/8-inch music wire
Yep.
for making landing gears.
Yep.
Well, about 2 years ago, I lost the wire bender and I couldn't find it. I searched high and low for that damn wire bender out in the shop. Couldn't find it. Figured it must have fallen off the bench into the garbage pail. That's what I figured had happened to it. And it was gone. So I held off and held off and held off and did not buy a new wire bender. I've been bending wire in the vise and with pliers and everything else, straining my arms all to hell. Finally, I put an order into Jim Lee and ordered a new wire bender. Today, I found the old wire bender.
Of course, after you receive the new one. Of
Yeah,
course.
it was sitting in an old toolbox in the garage over in the corner with 2 wood planes that haven't been used in 4 or 5 or in a couple of years. I needed a wood plane last night and I didn't want to use the power plane because it was too late at night. I lift the wood plane out of the box. What do you think was underneath the wood plane? A wire bender.
Of course.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know. It is
Glenn,
just-
I knew that was going to be how the story ended
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah, you knew.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
know. It's
Yeah,
the
you
same
just know.
story.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but you know how you know? Because you're around the same age too. You don't remember anything either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've all been there trying
We're
to
all
find
there.
things.
It's like, oh, I don't know where it is. It must have lost it. Must have threw it out. Must have done something.
I know.
Oh my
And then it's
God.
nuts when you keep looking the same places. You go, I just
I'm
maybe
gonna
I
look
didn't
there
look.
one more time. Maybe I
Yeah.
missed it. Maybe I didn't
Yeah.
see it. No, it's still not there this week
Yeah.
either.
I know.
Yeah, I did that on a rudder for the Vector. And it was one of the ARFs, and I can't find the rudder.
Can't
I
find
can't
it. Yeah.
find it, can't find it. So I call Brodak. They send me another rudder. Said I must have, when I did all the plastic, I must have threw it away with the plastic.
You thought, yeah.
I got the rudder, took it downstairs to glue it on, and I'll be damned if I didn't see the other rudder. And
Yeah.
it's like, how in the hell did I go 2 weeks and couldn't see that thing?
Yeah.
And there it was. So now I got 2 of them. So I got an extra one.
You got an
Now
extra
that-
one. Hey, what does your shirt say, Steve? I didn't get a chance to see it. Let me make it big here. It's funny how you think I'm listening.
Yeah, that's
Very-
Samantha got me that because she said that she talks to me and I don't even listen, pay attention. Whatever.
Very good. Hey guys, I'm going to end this live stream. It's 9:10 out here, and we've had a very good evening. We're at 30 likes, and we've had as many as I think, let me see here. It's like 27 live viewers earlier, and we've had 107 views. And the average watch time is 26 minutes, which is pretty good, believe it or not. And but before I end, Tom Rammel, he came in, he provided a like, and he told me that his mom passed away. He's traveling to
Oh.
Colorado. So our condolences go to you, Tom, and your family.
Yeah.
And where he's at, there's
Absolutely.
no access to a camera or mic, so that's why he's not in
Oh,
tonight.
man,
But
that
travel safe,
sucks.
and we look forward to seeing you again, Tom. And anyways, we had a really good show. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. It wouldn't be a show without you guys. I'm just here making sure everyone is seen and making people big and small. And you guys really are the show. And thank you so much. I appreciate it immensely. Anyways, we're not going away. We're just going to end the live stream. So if you want to come on in and join us, if you're camera shy, I'm going to turn off the camera to the YouTube. So go to stunthanger.com/SMF and then go to At the Bench. If you are a member of Stunthanger Forum and you're logged in, the At the Bench link should appear, and then just click on the link with today's date. And if you're not a member, you go ahead and register, but I doubt Sparky is going to approve you this evening, but you'll be ready maybe next time. So with that being said, good night. Oh, this is the weekend, so hopefully you can go out there and fly or go in your shop and build and come back Monday and show us some show and tells. Those are always a lot of fun. And we look forward to seeing you guys back here Monday night. So I'll see